All right. Oh, let me admit some rest of our people here. Hello. Happy Thursday. Today is May 1st, the 1st of May. Many more Mays to come. Hopefully, you're here for the mini grant expenditure report, as well as the new childhood registry of Palm Beach County and this coming CSC Star Award presentation. We're going to cover a lot in a little bit of time, but I am recording. And I will send out the PowerPoint, the recording, and any supporting documents that we talk about on this to you after we're finished. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for, you know, picking up on this last minute. I realize it just came out yesterday, but we're moving quickly. So I wanted to make sure I got this out to everybody and that you were able to move forward without any questions. So let's get started. So thank you so much again. We're going to keep doing that. Okay. So we're going to talk briefly about the expenditure report process, about the new registry website that is available to you, the aspects of the registry website, which are the program portal and the professional portal, as well as briefly about the CSC Star Award, which is coming, and then where we are going to be moving with some of these changes that we are implementing with the assistance of Children's Services Council and Palm Beach State College. So kind of a lot in a little bit of time, but it should go smooth. We should be good. All right, as long as I can keep admitting everybody and clicking things. Okay. So the mini grant expenditure report. So all of you that got this email got the mini grant payment. So that's why you got this invitation. So welcome. Um, we do need from you, you will remember when you got the mini grant that the terms of that grant payment, and one of them was to give us the expenditure report. So as of today, May 1st, the expenditure report is in WebAuthor. You are able to go in and do that. We do not need any receipts from you at this time. You are simply telling us what categories you spent the funding that you received at the end of February in. So um, just a reminder briefly of those expense categories. You cannot use this grant money for um, mortgage payments or rent or anything to do with property. It is to go to payroll, family engagement, cleaning supplies, professional development, mental health, goods and services, and any co-payments or if you assisted families with tuition. It's in WebAuthor. Um, so elc.webauthor.com, you'll click on that CSE Early Learning Mini Grant on the landing page, so that little white box. And only the person that actually submitted the mini grant application is going to be able to submit the expenditure report. It is tied to that personal login. So if you've had a change at your site and that person does not have access any longer or is not there anymore, you need to reach out to us and let us know, either Jalen or Ashley, and let us know who that person should be so we can get that corrected so you can get in and do the expenditure report. Okay. Don't panic. You have all of May and all of June to get this done. So I appreciate those of you that are on top of your stuff, but it is okay if we have to make a change and do some other things. So don't panic. Well, we're going to get this done. All right. It is very simple. It will, as long as you have your numbers in front of you, it will take you just a couple of minutes at the most, I'll be honest. You're going to just plug in your amounts in any category. You do not have had to spend the money in all of the categories. That is not a requirement. So if all of your money went to payroll, then you put all of your money in payroll and you put zeros in all of the other categories, right? You want to get to show us that you spent all the all the funding. So amount owed back to coalition should come up as zero. You do not want to owe us any money back. That's never a good thing. Okay, just like the IRS, you don't want to owe. All right. So you want to get to that point where you don't have to have spent in all the categories. If you didn't, you put a zero and you want to get to um, amount owed zero. There is a survey question, just one brief little question that is part of this expenditure report that asks you how to describe how the CSC mini grant was helpful to your program. You can write a sentence, you can write a paragraph, doesn't matter. You also have an option in there that if you would like to further discuss this, you can check that box, and we will have people that eventually reach out to you if you want to, talk about it a little bit more. But that's CSC, in their generosity of this grant, has asked that people tell us how this was helpful for your organization, and what changes you may have been able to do because of that. Okay, so that's new. It's one little line. You don't have to go worry about it. But that's it. I mean, it's literally fill in how much you spent, sign it, answer the survey questions, sign at the bottom, and submit. If you have any issues with any of it, Jalen and Ashley are here to help you. So you probably talked to them back when you did the application. They'll be available for you again to be able to talk to. If you can't get into your account or you're having issues, please feel free to reach out to them. They will be more than happy to help you, and they will respond to you faster than I will. I have a couple other things going on. So please, they are here to support you. Please take advantage of their support. They will be more than happy to help you get in and answer questions you may have. Okay. If they can't, they will reach out to me and I will be happy to support them in supporting you. So very happy. Any questions on any of that? But literally, like I said, very simple. I have a nice little one pager that I'll send out with directions, but it is merely getting into WebAuthor, having your expenses in front of you with what you spent that funding on, filling in those numbers, filling out the survey question, sign and submit, and then you're done. Like I said, we do not need any receipts at this time. You do not have to upload anything. We don't need any documentation from you. There will be an audit of a select number of providers after this closes. So this, like I said, is open until June 30th to submit the expenditure report. After that, in the fall, we will have random selection of some providers. And at that point, we would ask you to submit any of your invoice supporting documents for receipts for how you spent that funding. So definitely keep your receipts, keep your statements, but you do not have to give that to us at this time. Is staff payout considered eligible for this grant? Yes. So if you paid staff any sort of, and that was one of the categories. So payroll, benefits, or other personnel costs. So if you paid your payroll with it, if you paid staff benefits with it, if you paid for personnel costs, you gave bonuses, any of that stuff paid into retirement funding, all of that qualifies, and it's all in the guidance document. So all of that can be categorized there. All right. Anything else I can help with that? That's it. Couldn't get simple. If receipts go over the amount. So don't tell me what you spent over the amount, just get it to zero. So your receipts may be more. Obviously, your expenses are more than you received. You're just going to put in your total so that you get amount owed back to Coalition zero. If your receipts go over, that's fine, because obviously you're going to have more expenditures than this. This isn't your only income stream, but you're just going to enter in the amounts so that you get to zero at the bottom. So just tell me how you spent the amount of money you received. Okay. I'll pause because I talk fast sometimes when I get on a roll. Had a lot of coffee this morning. Okay. All right. Ashley or Jalen, happy to help. I keep admitting people. People still here. Okay. What if we used to pay for a regular payroll, but the payroll was more? Your payroll probably is more than you got for the grant. You're just going to put in how you spent that grant funding. So if you got $10,000, you're going to put $10,000 spent to payroll. If your payroll is actually $100,000, I feel for you, but you're only going to tell me how you spent $10,000. You're just going to get it to zero. Okay. You're always going to have more expenses. That's it. There's a mini grant. It's not, huge money. So you're just telling me how you spent the money that you received. Make sense? Anybody else? Before I move on and throw some more curveballs at you. We're quite the crowd here today. Hello, hello. All right. Okay, we're good. I'm going to move on. Mini grant expenditure in WebAuthor, getting us to zero, telling us how you spent the money. Ashley and Jalen are your support people. Beautiful. All right. The new Early Childhood Registry of Palm Beach County. What does that mean, Gina? So the Early Childhood Registry, which many of you are probably familiar with, I'm doing it as you're speaking, but it won't submit unless you check the box to be contacted. Okay, just check the box and I won't contact you. Hold on one second. So expenditure sheet is not showing a web author. So it's under CSC Scholarship and you have to be logged in with the same account that you used to submit the application. And I'll check on the box. If you just check the box, that's fine. I asked him to turn that off, but we'll check. Time frame for expenditures is January 1st through April 30th. I didn't put that on the slide, but any expenditures, you can go back to January 1st through April 30th, yesterday. Okay. I can't help you on this call, LaShawn. If you want to reach out to Jalen or Ashley afterwards, I'll be happy to get you supported. All right. We're going to talk about the new childhood registry. So the registry that you may be familiar with right now is pbcregistry.org, where you've gone in and created your account. That registry will be transitioning to registry.earlylearningpbc.org. And we are launching the site now in partnership with the CSC Star Award, which will be coming up soon. So this is the new site. What we are asking for is organizational admins or site admins, so directors and owners and people at your site who are responsible for keeping track of staff to go in and sign up for an account in the new registry. And we'll go over why. So that's where you're going to still have site administrative access. And then once we get you set up as a site admin, we'll show you how that works. And then other pieces will be going into this registry in the future. So right now, the pbcregistry.org website will remain open. It'll be open until probably the end of September. You'll still go there for Seek Scholarship and for HEO classes. But eventually all of that will be transitioning to the new registry website. Okay. All right. So what does that mean? All right. So as an organizational admin, so somebody who is responsible for staff at your site, you are going to go to this website if you would like to participate in this, and you are going to sign up. You're going to click sign up at registry.earlylearningpbc.org. You're going to get a new little pop-up that asks for your email address and to set up a password, your first name, last name, date of birth, and your mobile phone number, because it is going to send you a code. Everything sends a code now. And then you're going to click sign up. Okay. If you have a registry account, if you'd been in the previous registry, using your first, last name, and your date of birth, it's going to find your data. But that's the next step. All right. Once you click sign up, you will see a welcome message to you, and you will see the professional portal. Here from professional portal, either from the top or this box, the tile, you will click and you will be able to see the early childhood career journey. As an administrator, we need you to set up the initial part of your early childhood career journey, so your individual information and your current employment, so that we can authorize you so that you can invite staff in the future. All right. So once you set up your account, you request your account, you go to the professional career journey, and you put in your information and your current place of employment. You can stop there if you want to. You can keep going if you want to, but you can stop there and close it out. And then from that, we would set up your account as a site admin. Okay. As you go through the career journey and you start to play with it a little bit longer, you'll see that it has different areas. So the individual information is your name, your address, languages that you speak, just general information about yourself, your current employment, any previous employment you can enter on the previous employment tab. Higher education is actually any earned degrees you may have. The certification section is any certificates, so things like a director's credential, FCCPC, ECPC, all of that goes into the certification section. that has a start and an end date, um, CPR training, 45 hours, those sort of things. And then my professional development is where you would log any of your training, your in-service hours, your CEUs, or any college courses you may have taken and not earned a degree. So if you went to Palm Beach State and had taken a class, you would put that under your professional development. Any in-service training you do with ELC or DCF, um, all of that builds your registry account. And like I said, if you had a previous registry account, some of it may import as if it's been verified in that registry, it'll import and you'll see it there. If not, then you can start to build your registry account for future use. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing in my transitions. As an organizational admin, you're going to do, like I said, the first and the second sections, and then you can stop if you'd like to and just close it out. We will be searching that list, and from that list, we will make you, if you are listed in the provider portal as somebody with authorization for that site, so you're a director or an owner and you're listed as a user in the portal, then we will make you an organizational site admin. Once you become an organizational site admin, we'll talk about your role in the program portal, but that's what we're trying to do. So let me pause just for a second. So the website that this is on, anyone can go to that website and create the setup of the account. Um, you don't necessarily have to be you don't have to be an organizational admin. So if you were to share that website with your staff, they can go on there and do the same thing you're doing. What we're asking is that initially, so that we can get all the organizational admins set up, that you be the first one to do this before you share it with your staff. So we're asking you as organizational people to go in, request that account, so that we can set you up as the organizational admin because it of how the setup is, we want to make sure we can find all the organizational admins first, before we get a lot of extra staff rolled in there. Okay. So I had a couple of questions. I'm going to just stop for a second. Um, so if you have an old registry account and that information was verified, it should import into this new record. So all of the classes in the history that you have verified from the old registry should import over. If it's not doing that, we can work on that to make that happen. Right. So you won't have to input all over again. Okay. So again, we're asking for at least one organizational admin for each site. And I'll get you the website again, just hang on there. But if you're at a center, we're asking you to consider a secondary person as well. When you go in to create your account, we do recommend that you use your personal email, because this is your personal registry account. Okay. If you have a generic site email and you're no longer at that site, that organizational admin access will be tied to that generic email, but it will also hold your personal information. So you want to consider that. You have to take this. I can't tell you what to do, and I can't tell you if your organization would prefer you to have an account generic that is the school's account, and then you do your own personal account. You can do that. But the recommendation is that you're using your personal email because this is your account that would carry forth with you. It can be started at any time. Thank you, Carla. The website, Carla put the website address in the chat. So it can be started at any point in time. You do not have to have had an old registry account to start this account. It is completely separate. It will import what was in the old registry, or you can start fresh, and start it now because you're new to the industry. Okay. If you have a secondary person, so say you go in and you do yourself and you say, hey, I'm going to have my assistant director go in and I want her to be my organizational admin as well. We ask that you send us over an email giving authorization for that secondary person to also be an organizational admin because we're not going to know. just based on that person's name, that person should be an organizational person for your site. Okay. We have an email address, cscstar.award@elcpalmbeach.org. That goes to the team, which we'll talk about at the end. And you can request that access. So just let us know who that person is, their email address, and your site name so that we know that we can make them an organizational admin. Okay. Once you're in as an organizational admin, you will have the ability to invite staff in the future. Okay. I'm asking that you just pump the brakes on that a little bit. So let's get the organizational admins in first as much as we can. But you absolutely will be able to invite staff going forward. Okay. You are, as an organizational admin, taking on the responsibility that you will maintain the staff roster within the system. So once you start to invite staff and they go and accept the account and set up their account, they will show on your staff roster. So it is your job as a site administrator to maintain that roster within that system, which means either inviting new staff or terminating staff if they leave from the roster. Okay. You also will be responsible to verify that they work for your site. So if they've gone in, requested an account, said they work for you, you will have to go in and verify that that is in fact true. Otherwise, they will not be able to move on to the other components of the registry system. All right. Until they get verified. All right. So what does that look like? Once we make you an organizational admin, you're the organizational admin for the site, you will have both the professional portal and the program portal. So you will have an option to be able to see the program portal. When you either click at the top or you click on the tile, you will see the name of the site and then you will see staff roster. So you have a whole nother your employment is not being imported from the old registry system. You have to add your employment. That was not verified by the old registry staff. Once you get into the staff roster, you will see the option to be able to invite your staff. Simple pop-up, you plug in their email address, they will get an email, and then they will be able to accept and set up their account the same way that you just set up your account, quite honestly. They're going to request an account, and then once they do that and they're set up, they will show up on your roster. Okay. April put in that the employment is not listed, and that's correct. We did not import employment from the old registry system because that was not something that was verified. We only imported education, so you will need to add employment. Your job, again, as a site admin, will be to verify the staff. So to do that, once you go to the staff roster, the three little dots on the far right-hand side, and you click on that staff's name, you click on those dots, you'll get another pop-up and you'll be able to either verify or edit that information by verify. You only have to verify once. Once they're verified, then it will show as verified. If they do leave employment, then you do the same process. You edit and then you can enter the termination date. Okay. April, I'll look as why you can, let me find out. It's not under T for the Appleseed. So it's your job to maintain that staff roster and you'll be able to see once they're in there. All right, that's it. That's the registry. So we're looking for the organizational admins to set up their accounts to get in and get started. We're asking that you do not do the invite staff option yet. You can let them know it's coming, but let us get you in. You won't be able to invite staff until we actually make you organizational admins. So once we do that, you can start today. Or when do you start inviting staff? Probably next week. That's fine. But you can start and request your account today at any point in time. And we will work with those to make them organizational admins. All right, I'm moving pretty quick. So anybody other questions? I'm gonna pause, think about this for a second. Staff, did I miss anything? Can I use the mini grant for funds spent on next week for Teacher Appreciation Week? No, you should have spent all your mini grant funds by yesterday. Your mini grant funds had to be spent by April 30th, which was yesterday. Can you recategorize some funding and free up other funding because you spent mini grant funds on your other things? Yes, back to January 1st. Yep. Next week, if you'd like to share with staff for them to be able to go in and create their accounts, if you don't get a chance to do the invite, the registry.earlylearningpbc.org is the website. All right. I'll pause because people are typing. All right. So coming soon, and by soon, I mean really soon. Not next week, but soon. This the CSC Star Award. So the CSC Star Award is a payment that will go directly to staff who are working as educators in the field that meet the criteria for the work that they're doing based on a few criteria. So we're going to go through that. CSC Star, Star stands for Supporting Teacher Advancement and Retention. It is funded by the Children's Services Council of Palm Beach County. We at the Early Learning Coalition are the administrators of this award, and outreach advising support is from the Institute of Excellence at Palm Beach State College. So they advisors are still there for you, and they're working with us in conjunction with this grant or this award, excuse me. This CSC Star Award provides financial incentives to early childhood educators who work in the with children ages birth to 5, so pre-K students. And it has three primary purposes. It is to recognize educators' dedication and longevity in the field. It is to reduce the financial burden of increasing cost of living and low salaries in the field, and is to acknowledge the commitment to remain in the profession and pursue further education. All right. The eligibility requirements are that you're working at a site as an educator in Palm Beach County, that site has to have a school readiness, a Head Start, an early Head Start, or a Title I funding contract. So all of you that are on here that receive the mini grant have a school readiness contract or have an early Head Start or Head Start contract or Title I contract. So you all would be eligible for the CSC Star Award. VPK only providers are not. I don't know that anybody I emailed this to as a VPK only site. The educator must be employed in a position that supports classroom learning, and we have a list of all those positions. And they must be working at least 30 hours a week, so a full-time role, and earning $25 an hour or less. Okay. The award has 4 categories. One for longevity in the field, so how long you've been working in the ECE field. 2, longevity at the same employer, so how long you've been working at the current employer that you're at. Your class assessment score over the past 2 years, and education and training. So it is a continuum of progression as you are at a site longer or staff are at a site longer. As they have more education, they move up the scale to earn more award. Previous slide, yes. The Star Award slide. Sorry, people popping in. I'm going to send all this out. All right. So that's the criteria. That's the eligibility requirement. This is a breakdown of the award levels. So, for example, if someone is relatively new to the field, 2 to 4 years, maybe just been at your program for 2 years, maybe scored in the 4 range for a class assessment recently, and has an FCC PC, they would be earning 250, 200, 300, and $400, whatever that math is when you add all that up. That payment would be eligible to go to them after they apply for the CSC, or yes, for the CSC Star Award. Payment would be sent directly to them, and they can apply for that twice a year, every 6 months. So that payment would go directly to them. We are not going back to assessments every 2 years. No, that is staying on an annual basis. We will, so the reason I said that is because there are, at a site, because the assessment is random for school readiness funding, a random selection of half of the program, there are possibilities that some of your teachers may not have been assessed this year because the other class was assessed instead of their class. And so they didn't get an assessment this year, but they had one last year, they can use that score for the class assessment. If they've never been assessed, that's a whole other issue, but um, they're not, we're still assessing annually. School readiness, it's just half of the program every year. Sorry, it's very confusing. There's a lot of details, but we're getting there. So anyway, this is the award level. This is what it will look like. We are accepting in-service hours. You will see on there. Oh, okay. So if you maybe have, been we're going back 10 years, so we're taking 10 years and anything validated from the old system. So if it's been verified in the old registry, it'll count this way when it calculates your award. Um, In-service hours are from approved agencies, things like DCF, Early Learning Coalition, Palm Beach State College, the Lassinger Center, approved curriculum vendors, and accreditation. So if you have staff that have been doing in-service hours, then that information will go over. But that's it in a nutshell. That's what it's looking like. Hold on. All right. We can go on. So that's not there yet. So we still have to get you in as an organizational admin. It is an individual class score. Yes, we're working on that piece still. The Star Award will show in the future. So it will be there going forward. Um, there will be an app. They can do it through the website. There also will be an app on their phone they can download for the CSC Star Award. If they would rather do it off their phone, they can do that. And then as we move through this summer, we will have additional supports moving into the registry. Things like our training will move into the registry. Palm Beach State College's HEO classes and how you sign up for those classes will move into the registry, which will really be for your benefit because as you complete one of those classes and it gets marked as attended and completed, that will automatically go onto your history of your training on your personal registry account because it now was tied to the same system. You would not need to re-upload anything. So you wouldn't need to pull down a certificate and add it to your transcript in the registry once we get the courses in there. So that's one of the benefits of that. And then some additional class information will be in there. All right. So if you need help with this system, oh goodness, turn off my phone. All right. Actually, before I go to help, let me go back through a couple questions I saw pop up. All right. The class assessment is the center score. So actually, it should be the individual's class score. We're still working on that component of the CSC Star Award. So that is something that we are working with the developers on, but it would be the individual score. I worked at a center where I have an assessment score. I'm not a family child care home. Probably not, Marlene, because the assessment score is going to be tied to your current employer. We were not going to take from previous employers. Directors would only be eligible if they're supporting the classroom environment and making less than $25 an hour or $25 an hour or less. So that is that piece. Can other staff be considered? Not at this time. We are only doing this CSC Star Award for educators. That is how CSC structured it. So administrative and support staff are not considered for this award. The CSC Star Award is not open yet. And you're correct. Not all your classrooms had a score this year. It's possible that we could pull from last year. But we are still, like I said, working on that piece. The CSC Star Award, we are hoping to have open within the coming 4 weeks or so. So I'll do another webinar when it's open, but it's not going to be there yet. Okay. Hold on. I saw a couple other messages pop up. So let me pull that over. Oops. The highest score from the we're going to take the most recent score, not necessarily the highest score. So keep that in mind. If you're an instructional director, you're maybe asking me if you're eligible for the CSC Star Award, then potentially. Again, it would depend on if you are meeting the educational or the income requirements. Okay. So please take a second and meet our new team. This is the CSC Star Award team that will be here to help you. We have an email box dedicated just to them, cscstar.award@elcpalmbeach.org. They have their own phone extension. So if you call the 214-8000, select 2 for providers and then number 5 for questions about the registry or CSC Star, you will be able to speak to one of them. So Mirajan speaks both English and Creole, so she can help your staff that may need Creole support. Nefertiti and Celia. Celia speaks English and Spanish, and Carla is the manager. She also speaks English and Spanish. So we have support available to you. We are launching this. So we are learning a little bit. We're just slightly ahead of you as far as having been testing, but we're still learning lots of things about the system also. So if you have issues or questions, please feel free to reach out to them. They're happy to support. Just to make sure it's not your center composite score or what your classrooms that were not assessed. So yes, we're still working on the class scoring system and how that's going to affect applicants. Just hold on to those. I'll be honest, I don't have a ton of answers for you yet on that piece because it's a feature that we're still getting all the details on how that's going to flow. Okay. We just wanted to let you know that it's coming. It's going to be out there. And that's it for my presentation. I can go back to anything anybody might need or have more questions on. But that's it. That's what we're talking about. I don't have a lot of answers for class scores. Thank you. If you need to drop off, I understand. Like I said, I will send out the recording and the supporting PowerPoint and documents. Thank you for joining us. I just registered and it's not sending me the code to confirm. So yes, Sonia, if you would give us a call or send an email to the team, they can help you. And you did the sign up, right? Okay. Those of you that came a little bit later, I'll go back to, let me go back to the beginning here and go over quickly. Oops. Stop recording.